Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. So, in this segment, we are going to be touching yet again on the disappearance of Ben Tyner, the mysterious disappearance of Ben Tyner. If you do not know who Ben Tyner is, go back and watch previous podcasts that I've made in my library with missing Ben Tyner from Merrit, British Columbia. Yet again, we have another missing person out of Canada. This time it happened back in 2019, January 2019. Ben Tyner was last seen Saturday, but was not reported missing until his riderless horse, fully geared, was found 2 days later by two hikers or two horseback riders. It's believed that Ben Tyner at the time set off to nearby foothills of Nicola Valley searching for cattle before he went missing. He was last seen traveling east, riding his horse from the Nicola Valley Ranch that he was managing for a few months before he disappeared. So Ben Tyner was 32 at the time, and he left his ranch near Merrit, British Columbia, January 26, 2019. 2 years after Tyner rode off, his family is still wondering what happened. It is believed that the man may have been set off to the nearby foothills of Nicola Valley, searching for cattle. At first, this didn't seem suspicious until his horse was found 2 days later. Riderless horse, fully geared, by two horseback riders. Mountie said that the time suggests the circumstances are of criminality, but the investigation remains open after 2 years. What I'm reading right now is coming from bc.tvnews.canada. If you want to go and check out this article for yourself, this was published last updated in January 2021. However, Rcmp believe that this case is a homicide. They're not coming out and saying what leads them to believe that Ben Tyner was potentially murdered. So I'm just curious. They probably have a lot of information that they're just not releasing to the public. But for them to come out and say that Ben Tyner was potentially murdered and this was a homicide, they must have found some evidence that leads them to think that. Because that's a strong statement. This is not the first time that we're hearing Rcmp keeping tight about details of cases. And I would also like to bring up, yet again, missing people in Canada. It wouldn't surprise me. It's being said that it was not suspicious that Ben Tyner rode off to the foothills of Nicola Valley for cattle, right? Did he take all of him stuff? Did he take his wallet? Did he take his belongings? There's another thing that's being said, that his dog, Sue, I believe that's what her name was, a border collie, every time that Ben Tyner went out to search for cattle, he would take Sue with him. This time, Sue was not taken. So does that suggest that he wasn't planning on spending too long in the search for cattle. He was planning to come back home sometime shortly afterwards, not spending too much time in the valley. Why was he searching for cattle to begin with? Was there a shortage of cattle at the time? Did he have any help managing this ranch? Or was he short-staffed? Did Rcmp find evidence such as clothing, forensics, that definitely told them that this was a homicide, and they're just choosing not to release that? I'm just asking questions. The family has made 2 pleas for anybody, to the public, for anybody that knows details about their son's disappearance or whereabouts, to contact Rcmp. And that number is 1-877-987-8477, or you can contact Crime Stoppers anonymously. It's Creaky Chair. Thank you for tuning in. If you're watching, be sure to like the video. So to remind you guys who Ben Tyner is, once again, if you do not know, go back and view my previous podcast where we discussed Ben Tyner a little bit more in detail. It was January 26th, the last time that he was seen near his ranch that he was managing, near Merrit, British Columbia, Canada. What evidence believes that Ben Tyner was murdered? Maybe it was an optimistic crime. Someone saw an opportunity, probably thought that Ben Tyner had money. He had a lot of things. He managed a ranch, he dressed well, pretty good, handsome fella. He had money. Hitchhikers, robbers, smugglers, who knows who was out there in the wild, wild west of British Columbia. This place is almost desolate if you look at it on a map. Various mountains, a lot of places where you could potentially hide a body. Now, extensive research and searches have been conducted in the area soon after this happened. But they were unable to find any evidence leading to Ben Tyner, except his horse. Did someone know Ben Tyner? Was this a personal crime? Or was it just, again, someone just saw an opportunity to rob and kill him? Just questions that you can ask about this case. But something must have led Rcmp, structural evidence must have led Rcmp to believe that Ben Tyner was murdered. So it would be nice to know what that would be, especially for the family, because it's already been confirmed that they no longer believe that he's alive. He's deceased. And on top of that, it's a homicide. So what happened to him? You know, family needs closure, pretty sure. I'm going to share more of his pictures right here for you guys to see. We are discussing, he would be, I believe, 35. So 2019. Yeah, 35 years old. 35-year-old Ben Tyner that disappeared near his ranch in Merrit, British Columbia, Canada, January 26, 2019. This is an older case. Not a lot is known about what is going on. The family has came out and pled multiple different times for anybody that has information to contact Rcmp. It is currently being treated as a homicidal investigation. Thank you for tuning in. If you have listened thus far in the podcast, so here's more pictures of Ben Tyner. Like I said, if this was a random act of violence, like someone just saw an opportunity to rob and kill him, that's what I'm thinking happened. But yet again, Ben Tyner is not the only missing person in Canada that we hear this happening to. There's a lot of missing young men. There's one person that we just discussed, Jordan Strait, just recently, last heard from on October 30th, 2022. That case is also coming from British Columbia out of Terrence. Lots of missing people out of Canada. Unexplained murders, disappearances. I don't know what's going on in the background, guys. So if you hear screaming, it's probably the neighbors. They're probably fighting about something. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts and opinions on this case, especially for my viewing audience in Canada. What do you know about Ben Tyner? If you live in Merritt, if you know more about the ranch. What's your opinions? What do you think could have happened to him? Who could have done this to this man? And here's the flyer that's being put up. It's a little bit blurry, guys. I apologize about that. I'm taking these screenshots as we go. Just kind of going with the flow. Now, there is an official Facebook page for missing Ben Tyner, and I'm going to be sharing that right now if you want to go and check that out to find out more about Ben Tyner and his life, who he was as a person, more information on the circumstances of his disappearance is Missing Ben Tyner on Facebook. And once again, I'm not trying to cross cases here, but this is the other missing young man out of Terrence, British Columbia, Canada. Jordan Strait, 32. Last heard from October 30th, 2022 by his employer. It's believed that he was making a trip to Prince Rupert, but no evidence shows that he ever left Terrence. Oh, what is happening in Canada? So thank you guys for tuning in. Have a good rest of your day whenever you're watching this, and stay tuned for future content. Make sure that your bell notifications are turned on because YouTube likes to turn them off sometimes. Just a friendly reminder. Once again, like the video, dislike it, whatever you want to do. Get this into the algorithm. More people know about Ben Tyner, and his case will not go cold. Arrivederci.